Hello, hello, hello. Good evening, everybody. Good to see you. Good to see you. Okay, Pamela Sue, number one in here tonight. All right. Hello, everyone. Much love to you. And Miss Justice, you are number two. Number two. Much love, PG. Prayers, love, justice for summer. Amen. Good to see you, girlfriend. And soaring free. All right, looky there. PG got a super chat. All right, I appreciate that. God bless PG and her family, and chat and their family. Oh, that is so sweet. God bless. Hey, I appreciate the support for Summer's channel. God bless. Absolutely, girl. You made my night right there. Hey, Lynn, you are number four. Number four, girlfriend. Yes. APD and everyone. Hey, hey, hey to you. You know it. And see, there you are, girlfriend. Holler boo. How you doing tonight, Italian cookie? There you are. This here for roll call. Amen. Amen. Hey, Jolly Life. How you doing, sweetie? Good to see you, Georgia Wild Child. There you are. Hello, hello, hello. Hello to you, sweetie. And let's see, Charlene, there you are. Brianna, how you doing? And let's see, who else? Oh, that is so cute, Miss Justice. I like that. Um, he said you better not let the dog walk on the bed, right? Um, Ruby Rainmaker, how you doing tonight? Good to see you, girlfriend. Oh, I appreciate that, Miss Justice. Absolutely. Let's see who else is in here. Hey, small town girl. There you are. CJ. Don't want to miss you, girl. Don't want to miss you. And let's see. I call him Wildflower Fire. How you doing? How you doing tonight, sweetie? Hello, PG. Hello, hello to you. Colleen, how you doing? Deputy Sheriff, there you are. Howdy, everybody. Howdy to you. Much love. God bless. Hey, Pauline. Julianne. Cooking up. The deliciousness. There you go. Right? Yeah. Hey, spread the love. Love to you, PG. Summer's Army. God bless. Hey, girl. God bless you and yours. You know it. Hey, Patty Allen. Hi, hi, hi to you, girlfriend. Julian says, hey, everyone. Hey, Vicky. Julian. And then we're back. We're back to the bottom. PG finally got to the bottom. Oh, I forgot. Oh, me, oh, my. How you doing, sweetie? Jessica. Yeah. Tuesday. How you doing? PG, back in the trenches. You got that right, right? Yeah. I look forward to that seventh. I look forward to the seventh. That's a day of rest. PG be thanking God. I be thanking God, right? I be thanking God he made that a commandment so PG can rest. I have no problem keeping the seventh. Right? Miss Justice 1111 said, hello, welcome all. Too lazy to type all your names individually. at, least, at least she admits it. Right. Ronnie said, now that I know how, when I can get all yelling along with y'all at my phone, I'll just jump up on panel, right? Open panel here every night. Hey, Candy, how you doing? Hello, PG Chat Mods. Hello, hello, hello to you. All right, I'm gonna get to it tonight because I got some shocking stuff for you guys. I told you I'm putting it all into content, bringing it all out here to you, right? So fasten your seatbelts. Fasten your seatbelts. Um, Thursday night, I brought out, the fact that there's a new family, right? A new family, supposedly, Dawn and Candace, just like in Arkansas, with the young mother and her 3 kids. I guess over, you heard it. You heard it. Over in Tennessee there, somehow, some way, they met up with a young couple, right? A young couple with some children, I guess around 3 kids, and hanging out with them. I guess, they were living up in a tent, and Don and Candace, I don't know. This is just my opinion, as I don't know how they got a hold of these people. I assume they got them at one of those, soup kitchens, one of those home, like, what they stocked over in Arkansas. I got a feeling they's probably stocking them one up in Tennessee there. They met up with this, this girl and young man, kids, probably had substance abuse issues, living out of their car and in a tent, and somehow Don and Candace got affiliated with them, and next thing you know, the kids are taken away, and and this young man and woman who, broke and got, ain't got 2 pennies to rub together, um, ends up, in a trailer. All of a sudden, somehow, some way, somebody finances a trailer for him to move into in order to possibly get these kids back. But I hear Child Protective Services ain't returning them. So you got to wonder what's going on there. What the hell is going on there? And, but there's still, we don't know who they are. And there's still fear, and I heard Don was corresponding with the dad of these children, right? He's corresponding with the dad. The mother seems to, the dad seems to, be boss. The dad seems to be boss. Mother seems to go along with whatever, kind of like Candace. And, ain't a good situation. Ain't no good situation. That's what you got up in that place. You got Don and Candace's, right? Like Fred, Laura, Andy, Jody Sue, Marlena Crawford, and the trash she's messing with, and Marlena's sister-in-law and her brother, and the guys seem to run the show, more so than these women have every bit of knowledge of what's going on, and they're going along with it, right? Not one of them standing up protecting no child. They're all going along with whatever the hell these men up there are wanting to do, and that's not a good situation. That's like mother freaking 1800 shit, right? That's like some 1800 stuff. And it really is, because all these people, all these women are reliant. All of them's too fucking lazy to work. They're too fucking lazy to get a job, get their own place, do their own thing, right? They all laying around relying on, broken sticks. Well, and what rhymes with sticks, broken as well, right? And half of them relying on those broken sticks and what rhymes with sticks. Our mother freaking losing their broken uh stick and nick, right? So with that being said, they're all garbage, right? They're all garbage. But there, we just found out recently, and this has been recently, that there's more children at the hands of these evil fucking doers. See, when the court system took the Wells kids, when Child Protection Services finally took the Wells kids because one's completely missing, they had plenty of opportunity to save them all, but they didn't, right? They didn't. Hell, just a few months before Summer went missing, there was a 911 phone call. A 911 phone call. He's always attacking Summer. He's always attacking Summer. Help! Help me, Mommy! Mommy, help me! Mommy's a broken fucking stick, just like Daddy. And you know what? The little girl had to start screaming, somebody, anybody, please, somebody help me. Help me. Nobody did. Nobody helped. Law enforcement came up there. They talked to Candace. They talked to Grandis. They talked to Donald. Donald got him asphyxiated on a gun that he knew he wasn't going to go to jail for because it was perfectly legal. To get the focus off the real reason they were there, to help a 5-year-old innocent little girl that Jose had just told Candace, you get her out of there or I'm going to. And that's what caused the whole conflict. That's what the whole damn thing was about. Was whatever was going on in that shower that made Jose want Summer the hell out of it and was willing to go in and get her himself if Candace didn't. Right? Yes, that's right. That's what I'm talking about. But you call Tennessee law enforcement and they'll tell you, Mr. Wells is old enough and he's the dad of this child. And if he wants to go and take a shower with his daughter or underage sons or whatever, that's perfectly nobody's business what they're doing in there when they're in there. Does that sound about right? Does that sound about right for law enforcement in Tennessee? Because that's my opinion. That's my opinion. I think that's exactly how these motherfuckers think down there, right? That's how they think. It's sad. I'm going to tell you what, there should be a law that if you get caught bathing with your children, ever, your ass goes to prison. Ever. There should be a law against bathing with any child, especially your own. Right? That's just damn disgusting. That's disgusting. Put your children in there, bath your children, get them out, get them dressed, and bath your own ass. You have time to bath it, right? Just the way it is. But I do not think that adult people should be bathing with mother freaking kids, even if they're your own. You shouldn't be bathing with them. Giving them a bath, yes, but bathing with them, no. And and after they're a certain age, right? After they're a certain age, you shouldn't be bathing them. They should be able to bath themselves. You teach your child how to walk and how to talk, how to eat, how to go to the bathroom on its own, right? You teach your kid all of these things. And if you can teach your kids how to walk and talk and go to the potty on its own and how to eat, you sure to hell can teach it to bath itself. I mean, you're teaching it to eat before it's 5 years old. You're teaching it to walk before it's 5. You're teaching it to talk before it's 5. You're teaching it how to dress itself before it's 5. So you can teach it to take its own bath, right? Ain't no reason your ass needs to be, hands on with your kid after 5 years of age. I'm not going to leave a 5-year-old unattended in a bathroom. But I think if you give it some, if you turn on the water and you give it the soap and everything, I mean, the most you would have to help a 5-year-old with is washing its hair. But once the mother washes the child's hair, the child can finish bathing. The child knows how to, if it's a smaller 5-year-old, you might have to help it out of the tub, right? But you can give it its towel and it can dry itself and dress itself and get ready for bed itself. It don't need you for everything. I mean, I think at 5 years old, they can take care of their own body. They don't need you there for that. That's just a little weird, Yeah, yeah. That's my opinion. I think I think that's the way law enforcement thinks down in Tennessee, because clearly they got a 911 call with a child screaming in the background, right? Screaming, help me, anybody, somebody, help me. And they didn't bother to talk to that child. They didn't bother to bring Child Protective Services up there to see what the hell's going on, especially after mommy done commented that he's always attacking Summer. He's always trying to hurt. She said hurt. He is always trying to hurt Summer. So with all of that being said, and no one talked to this child, no one bothered to inquire on the real damn reason that their asses was up there at 110 Ben Hill Road through that 911 call. Pretty much proves what I'm saying. It pretty much, it pretty much proves that's their way of thinking. I mean, you don't have no logical minds down there in that law enforcement, right? There don't seem to be no logical minds in there at all. That's what I'm talking about. I mean, come the freak on, man. Come the freak on. The damn sheriff, the main sheriff of this place, was more busy with his insane son than he was with Summer's case, right? He was working harder to get his son out of jail, out of freaking prison, than he was finding this 5-year-old missing little girl and what the hell happened to her and prosecuting some people up for it, right? was afraid he's going to hear, why are you prosecuting these people for doing exactly what you old boy's doing? Right? You take the Wells in there and give them 10, 20 years, and you're going to have to take your boy in there and give him 10 or 22. Right? And I think that's why Summer's case ain't been solved and nobody's been prosecuted. That's my opinion. I'm allowed to have it. I'm allowed to have it. I think that the law enforcement down there was sitting on their hands because their own families was as bad as the fuckers sitting up on that hill. Right? Just saying. And I don't care. I don't care. The truth is the truth. Right? Everybody needs to face it. Everybody needs to face the truth. I'm going to tell you, a damn lie ain't going to get you nowhere. It ain't going to get you nowhere except into telling some more lies. And then some more lies to cover those lies. And at the end of it all, the only place all of that's going to get you is in hell. It's a road to fucking nowhere. A road to where all losers go. Right? It's called a road to hell. Hell. Just saying. And that's a road I don't want to be on. I don't want to be on it. I got up this morning and I turned right. Because that's what leads to heaven. And on that road, ain't nothing but truth. Because the truth is what gets shit done. Right? The truth tells all. The truth will tell where Summer's at. The truth will tell what she went through. And the truth will prosecute the son of a bitches, the evil bastards that did whatever they done to this 5-year-old innocent little child. So I seek the truth. And I'm going to tell you, you ain't going to find nothing unless you first figure out and find the way these son of bitches think. Right? If you don't know how they operate, then you ain't going to find anything anyway. You have to figure out how they operate in order to figure out what the truth truly is. Oh, yeah, they all some dirty players. I'm going to tell you something. Let me tell you right now, Florida's law enforcement would have done had the Candace Grandis and Dom Wells prosecuted the fuck up. Right? North and South Carolina done had their asses prosecuted up. Fucking Kentucky would have had their asses prosecuted up. Let me tell you something. There's a whole lot of states that don't put up with this shit. And a whole lot of states that don't need Summer to prosecute. But some reason, good old fucking Tennessee, nobody, no prosecution. Make that make sense. Them mother freakers could know exactly what happened, have all the mother freaking evidence that it did, and still refuse to prosecute. Make that make sense. Make that make sense. I'm going to tell you, Florida would have told Don, Candace, and Grandis, we don't need Summer to understand that you three mother freakers are number one effing suspects in this little girl's disappearance. We don't need her to understand that you set a stage. That you set a stage. You thought you were fucking Shakespeare up here setting a stage for abduction. And you done told us she didn't wander off. So if you could tell us what didn't happen, then you have to know what did. You obviously didn't ever read enough Shakespeare to understand how setting a stage works. If you want your audience to believe your bullshit, right? Just saying. And if Florida would have told them, we don't believe your bullshit. And we're putting handcuffs on all of you. Every fucking one of you. Because we truly believe that you had all to do with this missing little girl's case. You're under arrest for suspicion of making this little child disappear. All your asses are about to get prosecuted. And they'd have been handcuffed in Hunter too. They'd have been handcuffed in his ass at the fucking park, the other park where he was hanging with his girlfriend. They'd have been pulling up there, picking his ass up. He would have got a surprise. He'd have been surprised when they were pulling up to get him. And I guarantee you, that night, it wouldn't have took him 5 minutes to hear that boy sing like a damn bird in a cage of what really happened. And Summer's case would have been solved. Right? But Tennessee law enforcement, just my opinion, they suck. They suck. I don't think they know the difference between their ass and a hole in the ground. That's just my opinion. Yeah. That's true. I'm going to tell you what, I think Hunter deserves a prison cell for his part in what happened to Summer. That's my opinion, and I'm going to keep it. I think that boy deserves a fucking prison cell. I think his ass went into that water and did a dirty, evil deed that he couldn't come back from. And that's the truth. And in my personal opinion, I think he took out 2 more people in order to keep it a secret. That's my opinion too. Leslie and Allison. And that's the truth. That's the truth. Just saying. Yeah. Yeah. You're right, Deputy Sheriff. Absolutely. At one point, Donald was saying, oh, fucking aliens could have took her. Fucking aliens could have took her. Right? Who the hell talks about their missing child like that? Who talks about their missing child the way these evil fucking doers do? You tell me. You tell me. Right? But I'm going to tell you something. Um, that isn't what I'm here tonight. That isn't what I'm here tonight to talk about. I mean, it's worth talking about. It's worth talking about. And it definitely is why we're here. But I got some real eye-opening stuff for you tonight. And I want to get right to it because PG is a night owl, right? PG's a night owl. And I hope you all are night owls too. Because little man don't even go to bed. He's got a bedtime now. And he makes sure he stays up till that bedtime. So, you know, when you see PG come in here, that means little man just barely, laid down for his bedtime. And actually, and he's great. He's great. Let me tell you, little man's beautiful because, you give him his little bath and brush his hair, get him all dried up and dressed up and brush his little hair and everything and give him his bottle and put him to bed. And this little guy, man, he goes right to sleep. He goes right to sleep. And he sleeps now. He sleeps now for a few hours. Giving mommy a break. And I tell you, he don't know it, but I really appreciate, that few hours, right? I really appreciate that few hours. But I also love spending time with my baby. I love spending time with my baby. He's getting so big, so beautiful, and that's definitely a gift, from God. And man, do I appreciate it. I really appreciate it. He is the cutest, sweetest little fella you've ever seen. Absolutely. I mean, I can't say I deserve something that beautiful, but you know what? I am so appreciative to be blessed with it. That's for sure. Oh, I appreciate all your prayers. God bless little man. Oh, prayers for you and the baby. Oh, he's such a joy. And he's such a good baby. Such a beautiful, good baby. Especially when it comes to bedtime. I got him on a schedule and boy, he's just keeping it. He's keeping it. And he is an amazing little guy. Just amazing. I wish you guys could see the pictures of him. He is like so freaking cute. And I do buy him the cutest little outfits. I'll run into a baby store, right? I'll run inside of a baby store or be in a regular store where, and I go straight to the babies department and I can't ever seem to buy just one outfit, like I want tons of them, right? Like everything's so cute. Everything is so cute. And I buy all these and I dress him up. I dress him up in all these beautiful little outfits, and he is just adorable. Just adorable. I'm gonna tell you. Um, you know, the clothes don't make the baby. The baby makes the clothes, right? And he is like so freaking cute. Um, and he looks so cute in all these little outfits. For real, he is like. But I can't show pictures of him. It makes me kind of upset that I can't share. I can't share, with you guys any pictures because I would love to, and I take hundreds of them, right? I take like hundreds of pictures um of my baby. I didn't think I would do that, but I do. And he is, let me tell you, he's a ham. He is a ham. He it's like he knows. It's like he knows when you're going to take a picture of him. He makes sure he poses. It's so cute. Oh, I'm telling you, I am. I'm enjoying every second, girl. I'm enjoying every second because I see how fast. I mean, like anymore, a week is like a day, and your whole week goes by. It's like, where did it go? It felt like one day. It felt like one day, and a whole week's gone. It feels like a week and a whole month's gone, right? And he's just growing so fast. And the time, I don't even know where the time's going. And it's like, oh my gosh, before I know it, he's going to be a year old, a whole year. And then he's going to be 2. Then he's going to be 3, and I'm going to be like, where's all this time going? It's like yesterday, I feel like yesterday, he was coming into the world. And here we are, and he's just getting so big. And yeah, don't blink, right? Don't blink. But anyway, fasten your seatbelts, you guys. Fasten your seatbelt because you are about to hear some stuff that's like, whoa, whoa, straight up. This, talk about falsifying. That's what you're going to be hearing about. You're going to be hearing about some falsifying, and you're going to hear about who did the falsifying. You are going to be super freaking shocked on this one. And then you're going to be shocked some more. Has everybody got their seatbelt on? Put a 1 in the chat if you got your seatbelts on. Stick a 1 in the chat. I got to make sure you're buckled up, baby. Because I'm about to play it. I'm about to play it for you. And this ain't all I've got. This ain't all I've got. I got a lot more I'm bringing out. A lot more is coming out over the next, probably the next week. It's a lot. It's a lot. And it's all shocking. It's all shocking. But Thursday, I brought out the new kids that the Wells was having something to do with, the new family. And the reason I did is because it just goes to show that when Child Protective Services finally does come in and they do take the children away, when they should have done it way sooner, they don't protect other children. When you do not prosecute these evil SAers, these evil fucking people, you put other children at risk. And to my understanding, 3 more was just put at risk. Right? 3 more. Because Don and Candace is out hunting for them. Right? There you go. There you go. And that's why we say our system is broken. Our system is fucking broke. Right? Don't let the court system sign. What we need to do is take up a petition What we need to do is say, no, you're not going to let these essayers sign the children over and get away with not being prosecuted. You're going to prosecute because now you have a way to allow the children to be to be wherever they are on a screen. They can be in the comfort of their own foster home and they can be brought up on a screen and testify against these evil bastards that do this evil stuff to them. And they have every right. They have every right to be popped up on that screen. They have every right to hear what happened to them. And they have every right for these evil bastards to be prosecuted and to get justice for what was done to them. Right? They have just as much rights as anyone else. Any adult. Just because they're a child is no reason to allow people to get away with doing stuff to them and them not ever getting no justice. It's wrong. It's wrong in every aspect of the word. It's wrong. And if those kids were allowed to testify against Don and Candace for the essaying, Don and Candace would be in jail now. And they wouldn't have another family that they was talking to, possibly harboring in a tent. And law enforcement found out, came in, and took the kids away. Right? These children wouldn't have had to endure essayers off of 110 Ben Hill Road. Right? That's what I'm talking about. It shouldn't be allowed. These people who do cruel, evil stuff to children should not be allowed. They should not ever be allowed to stay free. And and what I don't get is they didn't even put Don and Candace on the registry list. When they allow parents to sign the kids over to avoid prosecution, they don't even get put on the the offenders list. They don't get put on there. So when people encounter them, they don't know. They don't have any idea that they're essayers. So you open these people up and their children to all of this. You don't find it out until they do somebody else. And then you find it out. And when you find it out, they do the same thing again. Right? They say, "Oh, we're going to protect your kid by just getting rid of him." And that's it. We don't want your kid to be devastated by telling what happened. We don't want your kid, people in the future, anybody, knowing what happened to them. So we're going to let the SAer just go. And we're going to protect your kid, but not the next kids that come down the line like your kid did. You make that make fucking sense. Make that make some sense. Right? One of your family members in another state could meet up with Dom Wells, think he's a nice guy, a hardworking guy, bring him in around the family, and look what just got brought in. And they wouldn't know that he's an SAer because there's no record. He signed the kids over to avoid prosecution. So there's no record of it. There's no way for for you and your family to know it until he does it again. And they will, and they will. There's no cure for them people, right? No cure. And that's when you'll find out. That's when you'll find out. It's wrong. They shouldn't be allowed to sign the kid over to avoid prosecution. Their ass should be prosecuted. Their ass should be fucking prosecuted. That's it. But anyway, that pisses me off. Just saying. It pisses me off. Yeah, slap on the wrist. Absolutely. Victim damage for life. And that son of a bitch just walks free to damage some more. Right? Absolutely. 100%. That girl. Absolutely. 100%. It's sad. Because any child that's ever went through that kind of punishment, right? Any child that's ever went through that type of punishment, that type of misery, that type of tragedy, that type of hell, does not ever want another child to go through it. They don't want to ever see another child be done like that. They didn't want to be done like that, and they sure don't want anybody else done like that. And that's why they should be able to stand up for themselves. That's why they should be allowed to testify and get justice. That's what I'm talking about. Oh, I'm going to play it, Miss Justice. Trust me. You better lean back, get your popcorn, lean back in your chair, because you're going to need to be leaning back when you hear this.
I didn't know that.
And I'm going to tell you one thing. White boy, he ain't no count. And that bitch, his girlfriend Noelle, she's a dirty lying bitch. Because let me tell you how, I could tell you so much, Sissy God, I could tell you so much. When they got charged with sexual abuse, for the children, right?
Right.
And they had a court date. Well, next thing you know, all of it was dropped, and I'm thinking, how in the hell? When the kids are the ones that told them.
Mm-hmm.
So, in talking to Noelle one day, and we were talking about that, she said, I'm the one that got them dropped. She said, it cost us a little bit, but we had these papers drawn up, made up to look legit. And
we had papers drawn up, said Noelle, white boy's old lady. We had papers drawn up to look legit.
They dropped charges. And I said, what? She said, yeah. She said, people don't know. There's quite a bit of things I can do.
Why did they say the charges were dropped?
Because of some paper Noelle had written up. Whatever the paper was, the court seen it and dropped the charges. And she was all proud of that. And I said...
And she was all proud of it. All proud of it. All proud to make the Wells, make Don and Candace motherfucking happy about her fraudulent ass papers that she had sent in asking for that case to be closed. They signed the kids over and everything, but Child Protective Services wasn't closing the case because Summer hadn't been found. And Noelle went and drawed up some fraudulent papers allegedly, according to this person. She drawed up some fraudulent papers sent them in to the court system in order to get the case, the case done and closed. Because and the court system, Don and Candace had no kids, and Summer hasn't been found. They have no other children because they done signed the boys, the boys over to the state. So what happened is since they had no kids and they went ahead and closed the case, basically the paper Don was showing you, it was a statement of there is no children on 110 Ben Hill Road that is at risk for what the other children went through. Right? So they closed everything out at the fraudulent stuff that Noel had put together and sent in. Uh-huh. And you can do that. And you can do that.
On
Well, I told her.
On Dawn and Candace?
Yeah, there was charges on Don and Candace for sexual abuse against their children.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, then it got dropped.
I don't understand it. It puts other people at risk. It makes the victim feel like they never got any type of justice for all the pain and suffering and misery and a lifelong sentence of having to, deal with this kind of tragedy in their life. It's not fair.
Well, I see where they're asking Ziggy and Fred to adopt the oldest boy. They're asking people to adopt him. And I see where they're friends with about all the YouTubers now.
Oh yeah. They're, Don and Candace are, right now, they are between a rock and a hard place with that oldest boy. Don and Candace right now, trust me, they are in fear that oldest boy is coming out and he's going to tell everything about them, in order to seek his own justice that he didn't get by the system. And so I understand that fully and completely. And Don and Candace, feeling like their time's running out, they're getting desperate. And they're asking White Boy and his wife to take that kid. Them two been to take it.
They already tried. Tried.
Exactly.
They couldn't get the custody.
They wanted Tim Mullins to do it, and he was too old. And he's has no wife. He has, no real family, to help on top of his age. And so he couldn't do it. And then they wanted Robin. That's a lot of the reason Candace and Robin fell out, was due to, Candace was pushing too much about her get my boysies. And Robin's like, no, I can't, I'm not going to take your boysies because I don't want to put up with you. You would think that you could have access to them, and I'm just not going to be, dealing with all of that and fighting with all of that. The reason a lot of people didn't want to take Don and Candace's boys is because they don't want to put up with Don and Candace. Don and Candace are dangerous. They're very dangerous.
Oh, yes. Do you remember when Dee died?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Did anyone need the first part played again? And I'm going to tell you, I got some proof here. That I want to show you to all of this because, there ain't nothing like showing proof in the pudding when things are being said, right? There's nothing like showing some proof in the pudding. And the first proof we're going to look at here is good old Tim Mullins, right? Good old Timmy Mullins. Right here. Take a look at it. Tim Mullins likes, there he is. There's good old Tim. How you doing, Tim? Good to see your face tonight, right? Not. All right, not. But there's good old Tim, staring at everybody all crazy. And there's Candace, right? Looking dumb as dog shit. Look at her. She's looking dumb as dog shit. And Don ain't far behind her. He's got it all over his face too. Oh, busted. Busted. Cannot be trusted. We are so fucking disgusted. Right? There you go, Candace. Oh, yeah. Somebody went to that back door. Somebody went to the basement. The basement door. Right? Some are supposedly in the basement. Disappeared. Beam me up, Scotty. Just disappears. Grandis and Candace right there at the camper door. Right there. Right there. Look up there. What do you see? What do you see? The whole fucking camper. What do you see? The whole fucking camper. I can't say that enough. I can't say that enough. I have to repeat that a few times because it's worth repeating, right? It's worth repeating. Right there it is, folks. Take a good look-see because I'm sitting here look-seeing at it right now, right? I'm look-seeing at it. And I see the whole mother freaking camper right there staring right down at the back door. Right down there at the basement door. Old bitch come out. Boom. What does that tell me? That tells me no damn body went in or came out that door without their asses seeing it. Right? There you go. Absolutely. Their asses would have seen it. If it happened, they would have knew because their asses was right there. Right there, baby. Right at that camper door. Big old granny sitting there. And let me tell you, I know all about Granny, right? I know all about Granny. I read Little Red Riding Hood. I read it. And I'm going to tell you what. Oh, Granny, what big eyes you have. Better to see you with. Oh, Granny, what big ears you have. Better to hear you with. Oh, Granny, what big teeth you have. Better to eat you with. Yeah, well, I think you know what? June 15th, 2021, little Summer got devoured. And old fucking Granny was there with her big eyeballs, her big fucking ears, and her big teeth, right? Just saying. Just saying. She was there. And old Granny didn't do a damn thing to save her granddaughter. Old Granny was in it. She was in it. She was all caught up in the game. All caught up in all the shit that they was doing. And it took to make this little girl disappear, right? Yeah. Sure the hell did. And she had that old ass right there in the doorway. Her and Candace. And both of them had their fucking ears up like antennas. Their freaking eyeballs open, seeing and hearing every damn thing. And I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to let you know right now. Nobody would have even been able to let a silent fart on that fucking land that them son of a bitches wouldn't have heard it, seen it, and smelled it. And that's the truth. That's how in tuned these son of a bitches are, right? That is how in tune they are. Nobody came up there and done nothing. And law enforcement knows it. Nobody done nothing but these mother freaking evil bastards right there. That's who did it. Donnie took his ass to work to hide. Candace and Grandis took their asses to do all the dirty deeds. And they done them. Right here. Right here. Take a look at that. There's poor little Summer. Look at her. Look at that beautiful child. You know, that little girl couldn't be outside without God sending a ray of sunshine upon her. Take a look at her. Go back and look at Summer's pictures. Even if she was standing in the shade, the sun was streaming through, still shining on that baby. God loved her. God loved that child. Yeah. Candace did this to her hair. Candace did this to this beautiful child, and she was still beautiful. She was still beautiful, and Candace couldn't stand it. No matter what she tried to do to make Summer feel small, it didn't work. It didn't work. Because that little girl was still great and still beautiful and still shining. They thought it was funny. They thought it was funny to put her missing poster on the roof. Up on the roof, so when the helicopters fly over, planes, they'd see it, right? They'd see it. The only people's going to see that is from the sky, says Don Wells. Says Candace. Ha 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 ha. Right? They think it's so funny. You'll happen to be in the air if you want to see that. Right here. Yeah, house is dangerous. He told the news. He's telling the news how people, you know, these YouTubers were threatening them and everything else. Bullshit. Bullshit. Them motherfuckers were getting so much free shit they couldn't even keep up with how much was coming in. Right? They had churches bringing it in, mailman bringing it in, phone calls bringing it in. Yeah, it was coming in every way but loose. They wasn't getting no threats. They were getting mother freaking confiscated for being fucking evil. People were supporting pure evilness when they supported these cocksuckers right here. Right? Yeah, and that's the truth. He said a number of amateur detectives and psychics had shown up at his home, sometimes in the middle of the night. Bullshit. He was standing outside in his birthday suit staring over at Jody Sue's place in the middle of the fucking night. I didn't hear no psychics talking about that, so I know therefore they weren't up there. And I didn't hear no detectives talking about it either, because all they would have found was the reason that Candace was messing with everything else besides what she had, right? Mm-hmm. And then he goes on, Summers brothers were to be just temporarily protected, and all of a sudden became a profitable product for the system. What the fuck? ever, Tim Mullins. What the fuck ever? Those kids should have been in Child Protective Services before Summer came up missing. They should have been in Child Protective Services before 911 was called. And Don got another chance to be doing dirty deeds in the shower. Okay? Is it okay with you, Tim Mullins, for little children to be used and abused and essayed and done like this? That seems to be okay with you? It makes me wonder about your character, if it is. Okay? You want to protect the Wells kids? Leave them the hell alone. You want to protect the Wells kids? Pray that they don't ever go back to that hellhole where they were so abused and done so violently. Okay? Or do you have a special reason why you want them back? I got to wonder. Right here. We want our boys in the Kingport City school system. That ain't Don Wells. That's Tim Mullins. Tim, why you signed Don's name to this? This ain't, Don wouldn't do no research on schools. He didn't ever do it before. He ain't going to do it now. This is all you. This is all you. Why are you wanting, why is it so important for the Wells boys to return to Don and Candace? What fucking dog you got in this race, Mr. Tim? What dog do you have in this race? Because I'm starting to wonder. I'm starting to wonder, how long did you really know the Wells? I'm starting to wonder why they would let a stranger set up their new computers. Why they would let a stranger come in their house and do all the things that they were allowing you to do. Why would they allow you to take their phone and download it and keep it? Why would they trust you? Why was you keeping up with Don the whole time he was in jail? Why was you doing all the stuff that you was doing? Why are you so fucking weird? Just answer me that. Why are you so fucking weird? Because I don't know. I don't know. There's nothing mysterious about you. It's just weirdness. Right? That's what it is. Like, big old fucking weirdo. In addition, KCS ranked number 4 out of 126 as the best school in the districts in Tennessee. Yeah, well, you know what? I'm sure the boys are going to a good school and they're coming home to a hot dinner, snacks, a clean bed, clean clothes, no scabies, no lice, no using and abusing. I'm sure the foster parents are not going down to Fred's and picking up some illegal substances and trying to figure out if maybe he's got a clean, thing in order to use the substances with, in the right or left arm, the grind of the leg, maybe even more vital places that I don't want to fucking discuss or talk about because it disgusts me enough to think about the Wells not taking a bath anyway. And the fact that, they're up there crapping in the commode and not even wiping, because whether they wipe or not, they're going to have to smell it, right? Because the toilet don't flush. So, that's kind of sickening. But yeah, and I think, I don't know. But I think I'll save that one for another day. Because it's more that's going to come out anyhow. Um, and we'll talk about that then. But I'm going to move on. I'm going to move on with this. Oh, right here. Uh, these do not apply to the Wells. The hell if they don't. The hell if they don't. Physical abuse. That's why Child Protective Services was up there. It's because teachers at the school witnessed Candace attacking little Summer, literally attacking this child. Um, you know, brutally attacking this child, and that's why they were even got involved. When they were okay, Tim. So what the hell are you talking about? What the hell are you talking about? And we have witnesses that the boys, one of the boys, went to try to wake mommy up when something was going on that needed, a mother's attention. And she wailed the living crap out of him, to the point that the witnesses, which was Allison and her daughter, her kids, didn't know if the boy would even survive it. They was worried for him. They was worried, that they might hear he didn't make it after that. Mr. Tim, right? Those kids were being brutally abused. And there was witnesses. Neglect. They had lice. They had scabies. They had ringworm. Right? Their beds looked like a freaking pig pen instead of a child's bed. Shut the hell up. We saw it. We saw it. We seen that mattress, Mr. Tim. We saw the inside of that damn pigsty. That's clearly neglect. S.A. Yeah, well, good old Candace confided in Jinkies that her and Don both was being prosecuted for that. She was so scared that it's going to come out here. She told everybody. She was talking to that both of them was in trouble for it. And that's why they signed the kids over, to avoid prosecution. The boys told that they had been being essayed, Mr. Tim, so shut the hell up. Jody Sue said, go ask Andy what he was going over there giving Candace to sedate little girls. Not just Summer, but other little girls and children. So what the hell are you talking about? Psychological harm. Mentally. This woman goes in the house and says, where's Summer? I told you to watch Summer. Where is she? She went in there and gaslighted her children into believing that it was their fault and they were the ones that were responsible for their sister missing, because she told them to be the adult to watch the little girl. I think that's fucking mental abuse, Mr. Tim. What the hell are you talking about? And if she could do that to her 3 sons, how much more did she do before this? Because that clearly let us know she didn't have no compassion and didn't give a shit about what she put on those kids. It's time to bring the boys home. Anyway, it goes on and on and on. And Mr. Tim, look at this. 2021 a party, 2022 partying, 2023 partying, right? Just party. Does that look like parents worried about their missing child and getting their bullsies back? Huh? Candace wants her bullsies back. Yeah, bullshit. Bullshit. This is a whole thing right here. And look at the oldest boy. Look at this oldest boy. You can tell daddy. You can tell daddy it's got this oldest boy standing guard. Look at this oldest boy, the way he's staring at law enforcement. The young, and look how he's making sure to hear what his brother says. Look at how he's guarding. Right there. The oldest boy right there. Don had this boy all soldered up to keep the other two under control and not talking. Right? Yes, he did. Yes, he fucking did. And that's why the oldest boy got taken away. He got taken away because he was being a problem. He was being a problem in the home where the other two boys were concerned. He was lording it over them like daddy told him to. And they had to get him out in order to let the other two boys breathe enough to get some truth out of them. Yeah. That's why Don was running around in corners with the oldest boy, instructing him to keep the other two under control. Right here. Right here. Look at these pictures. Take a look. Look how bald they cut Summer. Look how bald they cut her. I'm gonna tell you that is more than cutting a child's hair all one length so it could grow back in. So it can all grow back in the same length. That is way more. They literally shaved this baby's head. That had nothing to do with cutting all of her hair one length to grow back in normal. No, hell no. Hell to the no. They shaved her head completely bald because Jody Sue told the truth. They cut that baby's head completely bald, shaved it down to the scalp. Right? A pair of clippers won't cut hair that close to the scalp. Let me tell you that right now. You're going to need some shaving cream and a razor to get it down that close to the head. Somebody took their time to take that all the way down till there was no hair left. And I'm going to tell you something. Why would they do that? Because what Jody Sue said. You go ask Candace what Andy was providing to sedate those kids up with so they could be touched. They made sure this kid didn't have one freaking stubble on her head that could have identified the substance that they were using. So they could, do what they were doing. Yeah. Take a look at that. Take a look. And where did they get that? Well, my opinion, from Fred Hill, because Laura's daughter had just had problems with children's services, and they was taking hair samples to see what substance was in the children's system, right? And Don and Candace sat there and lied. They said, "Oh, we cut the boy's hair, and she wanted her hair cut like that too. So we went ahead and we cut it." Well, take a look at the picture right there, because the only one that ain't got no hair is Summer. Middle boy's got hair, oldest boy's got hair, and the youngest boy's got plenty of hair. They all three have hair. Who doesn't have hair? Summer. Summer. Because that was the main one that they were supplying the stuff for. And they were using and abusing up, right? God be with that little girl. God be with her. Could you imagine son of a bitches that would do this to their 5-year-old little girl? That they would use and abuse her? That they would allow people to use and abuse her? How fucking sick do you get? And look at her. Look at her right there in that picture by the for sale barrel. Candace had her out there like a runway, had her come walking towards her. You could tell she was being instructed in that video. You could tell that she was looking for instructions on what to do. So mommy could obviously send it or put it out there to somebody, one of them sick freaks. And then, you know, like Dudley said, they came out the door with Summer. They came out the door. Summer was head down on Dawn. They get in a car and they leave with her. Sounds like she was sedated. It sounds like she was sedated to me. And they were going somewhere to let somebody do something. Right? That's what it sounds like to me. That's my opinion. I'll keep it. Take a look at it. And I'm going to tell you, all the dirty shit they was doing ended this little girl up on that milk jugs right there. To save their own asses. They wasn't going to try to save Summer. She was sick. Something was wrong. We all know it. They wasn't going to try to save her. They were out to save themselves from prison. From prison. And there's the old hag right there. There's the old fucking hag grandma up there in the corner. That's got them big fucking ears and those big eyeballs and those giant teeth. Right? There she is. The big bad wolf right there in that chair. Lying her ass off. Lying her fucking ass off. That's why she went flying off that hill. She went flying off that damn hill. Because her ass was guilty. Because she's fucking guilty. Guilty people don't run. Innocent people don't run. Guilty people do. I got that backwards. That fucking bitch right there ran. We know it. And Andy Bernard did too. Andy Bernard hauled ass. I'm going to tell you what. Every one of those people were uncomfortable as hell with law enforcement being up there. Every last one of them uncomfortable as hell with law enforcement being there. Grandma ran. Andy Bernard ran. You know, that holler was cleaning itself out. Soon as this little girl went missing, those people were heading out the other end. Donnie and Candace wanted to run. They wanted to run. They just didn't have no damn where to run to. Right? It's the truth. It's all the truth. Grandma's ass was there. She knows exactly what the fuck happened. She knows what happened at that swimming hole. She knows that her granddaughter was freaking on alive in the backseat on these milk jugs. She knows this little girl had done got, put under the water at the swimming hole. She knows this little girl got put under that water by good old Hunter, the fucker that wanted to be a thug, right? The fucking special ed kid that wanted to be a thug. He ain't no damn thug. He's a coward. He's a piece of shit. He's a fucking problem for society. He's motherfucking dangerous. That's what the hell he is. Right? I'm going to tell you something. God measures it up. Whether it be good or bad, he's going to measure it up and pour it back out on you. So Hunter, let me tell you something. It's an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth, right? And when God pours what you did at that swimming hole back out on you, well, don't say you didn't deserve it. Don't say you didn't. Because I'm going to tell you what you do is going to come home to roost. Let it be good or bad. It's going to come home to get you. Right? You live by the sword, you die by it. Better remember that one. This little girl ended up on this milk jugs right here. Unalived. In my opinion. And I'm going to tell you what, right here's the fucking coppers that did it. All three of them sitting right there at the top. All three of them. Candace groomed that boy. Candace gave that boy illegal substances. Candace groomed him. And Candace had him do a dirty deed. She talked that kid into destroying this innocent 5-year-old little girl that them motherfuckers used, abused, until she couldn't be used and abused no more, until something seriously wrong happened and they couldn't get her medical treatment because they didn't want to go to prison. They didn't want to go to jail. And they had two options. Take her to a hospital to try to save her and go to prison, or do this dirty stuff that they did and at least try to avoid prison if they could. Well, they rather tried to avoid it because they knew the other way was going to put them there. This way, they felt they had a chance. Right? They felt they had a fucking chance. And in Tennessee, it sounds to me like they might. It sounds like they might. Because in Tennessee, law enforcement sucks, right? That's my opinion too. I'm going to keep it. Right here. Don Wells didn't want this billboard. He didn't want no billboards. I know for a fact because he told me. He wanted the money. Why are they wasting money on that, PG, when they could give it to me? Right? Why are they wasting the money on that when they could give it to me? Me and Candace. He wanted the money. I said, ain't you going to go out there when they unveil this thing and light it up for summer? He said, hell no. He ain't going to go out there and stand. Well, they do that. He said they shouldn't have been doing it. He said, Sissy, they should have gave us the money. They should have gave me and Candace that money. They wanted to waste it on this. He called this a waste. Right? A waste. Look at this baby. I want you guys to take a real good look at this baby. Look at her. Look at her hang her head. Look at the hurt in this child. Robin had been holding her, and she touched Robin's hair, and she touched hers. And Robin set her down. And she wanted Robin to pick her back up. And Robin was shooing her away. Because, see, Robin didn't really want to put up with Summer. Robin was a fake. Robin was a fake person. She didn't want, she didn't want to lose face in the church. So she acted like she's all nice and all this and that. But really, she didn't want to put up with the Wells kids. And she was shooing Summer off. Because she wanted to be front and center, full attention in front of the whole church. And she was tired of holding Summer and trying to grin and bear it. What she really wanted is Summer to go away. She wanted Candace and Donald to watch their kids like they should have been. And she wanted to, be the spotlight in that church without being harassed by a child. And she was shooing this little girl away. at the time that this picture was taken. And look at this little girl. Totally heartbroken. Look at her. Nobody loves me. Nobody loves me. I go through so much and nobody loves me. They use and abuse me at home. They're cruel and evil to me. I go through so much pain, suffering, misery. I come here and I get my feelings hurt again. Because this is an evil world and nobody really truly cares about me at all. This child was standing there with her eyes down and a broken heart of realization that nobody gives a fuck. Right? That's what this child was enduring at that moment. And all she wanted was someone to care, someone to give her a reason to keep fighting through the hell and the misery and pain that them fucking evil bastards was putting her through. And Robin couldn't even do that. Okay? She couldn't even fucking do that. Because she is a genuine. She's a damn fake. A big fucking fake. Oh, let's get little pouches and put snackies in them and run around in the woods. Right? Let's all put on a fanny pack of snackies and run around in the woods. Oh, law enforcement's leaving. It's 12 o'clock. They're wrapping it all up because they don't want to be tired tomorrow when they're eating their fucking coffee and donuts. Oh, well, like, okay, Summer can stay out there all night. It ain't going, it's no big deal. She can stay in the woods all night. She can just have a campfire with the 3 bears and the 3 little pigs and fucking Winnie the Pooh. Take her too. Maybe Pinocchio will show up and later he'll turn into a real boy. Right? What the fuck? I'm going to tell you something. They ain't nobody that fucking dizzy. They ain't nobody that fucking stupid. Not on the face of this earth. That's a full-blown fucking act. Right? A big freaking act. She broke this little girl's heart because she let this little girl see that she's a fucking fake. Shooing her off. And I'm sure she did it many other times too, so the floor could be hers. Right? The floor is yours. Robin, well, that floor is yours from now on, bitch. Right there. Take a good look at it. Take a real good look at it, y'all. Because this is why June 15th happened. This is why they had to hide her. This is why they went to the swimming hole to get rid of her. And this is why they went down to Fred Hill's house, met up with Chad Arnold to go hide her. right there. It's either take her to a hospital or destroy her and hide her away. They took her to a hospital, they're going to jail. They destroy her and hide her away, they might have a chance of getting away with it. So they picked the latter one, right? They picked the latter one. And that's why we're here. Because they chose to try to save their asses. And I pray that God don't let them. I pray that the truth comes to light and that their asses all end up in prison where they fucking belong. And that's my opinion. I will keep that. I pray that they bring somebody into that law enforcement that actually has a fucking brain and knows how to get shit done. And you take a good look at this. Because as you can see, she's got makeup on. Hunter said she was wet against the driver's side door at Walgreens, at Sonic's, at the store. Wet, laying on it. Where'd she get this outfit? Where'd she get all made up at? I'm going to tell you where. Are you sure that's the driver's side?
So the milk was in the middle?
No, it was on the one side or the other. Let me, I think I do got a picture. Let me just, reassure myself, because I could have swore she was behind Grandis's seat. But she could have been behind Candace's. That could be my bad.
Yes, Grandis was in the truck when they dropped Summer off. Yes.
What did you say? What did you say, Allison? What did you say there?
Yes, Grandis was in the truck when they dropped Summer off. Yes.
Yeah, good old slip of the lip. Right? Good old slip of the lip. Take a listen.
Yes, Grandis was in the truck when they dropped Summer off. Yes.
Yeah, they dropped Summer off. They dropped Summer off at Allison's house where Summer was being cleaned up, redressed, makeup put on her face. Right? They dropped her off. And if you remember, there was no rain on June 15, 2021. But Grandis's truck looked like it had rained. When you look through the back window of that video, it looks like it had rained. Because they dropped Summer off at Allison's and they went to wash the car up and to spray some real heavy mother freaking car perfume in there. Right? You go to the car wash, they got the shit you could spray all inside the car, so if sniffer dogs come around, it's going to fuck up their sniffer, right? You just spray it all over hell and back. New car smell, you can put lemon, cherry, whatever's going to turn you on that day, you can spray it in there. They had to go and they had to clean that car up. Right? They had to get that decomposition out of it. Right? Absolutely. And while they're cleaning up the car, Allison here is helping to get Summer cleaned up and made up. Clearly, there is lipstick right there. Take a look at it. Right side, bottom lip. Look at Summer's right arm, bottom lip, smeared lipstick. Right there. Look at the bluing. I want to tell you, the makeup couldn't even cover up how blue she was already turning. Look at her fingernails. They sure in the hell couldn't cover that up. Take a look at it. They're already. And look at the top of her hand right there, the right hand, right around the thumb. It's all turning blue and puffing up. Yeah, it's called rigor mortis sitting in, right? That's what it's called. Rigor mortis, right? There you go. There you go. Case closed. Tim, right? Why are you trying to get children? Why are you trying to get boys back in a place that could do this to a 5-year-old innocent little girl? How the fuck could you even think of trying to help that? I don't even know. I don't even know. But there's more to come, you guys. So put your seatbelts back on. I just wanted to confirm the first part of what you heard tonight. I wanted to show you and confirm what you were hearing. Okay? Because I don't like to come out here without receipts. People saying, you need a receipt. I bring them. I bring them. Anything PG says, I can back it up. And I want to tell you, everybody that has been here with PG 4.5 years can agree with that. Every last person that's been here for any length of time knows that I bring the receipts. I back up. I put my money where my fucking mouth is, right? Absolutely. I don't mother freaking come out here and just say stuff and expect it to be believed. I do the research. I do everything it takes to bring the fact and to bring the truth and to bring the receipts and put them on the table. And I always have from day one. Day one. I'm going to tell you right now, I work my ass off on these children's cases. And I tell you what, I toss the bullshit out and everybody knows it. I toss the bullshit out, baby, and I bring the truth. It don't matter what case I'm talking about. You want the truth? You're going to hear it right here. Why? Because I'm going to tell you why. I ain't doing this for clicks, likes, or views. I'm doing it for the victims, the ones who need us to be here. I'm here for the real reason, to help these missing kids. And nothing more, nothing less. I'm going to tell you, we're going to all meet our maker one day. We're going to all meet our maker. And I'm going to tell you what, you better have been everywhere for the right reason. Because if you was anywhere for the wrong reasons, your ass might be in trouble. You may be in a lot of trouble. And you don't want to get in trouble with God. Get in trouble with anybody you want, but don't let it be God. Right? Better be doing what's right all the time. Because all the time is going to count when your judgment day comes. That's all I got to say. And I'm out here for the right reason. Ain't no wrong reason. And I'll tell you another thing. I don't have to walk on eggs. I don't have to walk on eggs, and I don't have to kiss no backside for click, likes, and views. And I'll tell you what. I love it. I love not having to be a big backside kisser. Right? I'll keep my morals, I'll keep my dignity, and I'll keep my respect. I ain't about to let none of that hit the ground like some people I know, right? Like blood money, right? Like blood money. Yeah. I don't want no blood money. That's for damn sure. That's for damn sure. So get your seatbelts back on because you're about to hear another bolt of this, right? Hey, I'm just glad that these kids have a channel like this. I'm glad that they have a channel like this that is willing to do whatever it takes to help find them, bring them home, and get justice for them. I'm glad they got a channel that ain't walking on eggs or kissing backside. I'm glad they got a channel that's calling out all the truth and putting the truth on the table to put the puzzles together and make the case strong enough to possibly get some justice in the future. I am very happy that God put us where we are for these missing kids. Are you guys seatbelted up? Put a 1 in the chat. I want to make sure you're seatbelted up because what you're about to hear this time's going to be real shocking to you too. Hey, I love you guys too, girl. You know it. Come on. I gotta know. Wonder Woman, seatbelted up, baby. I'm glad to hear it because you all need to be there. Okay, 100% seatbelted up. Got your popcorn? Got your soda pop? Got all the snacks you need? All right. Let's do this. Let's do this because you're about to hear some that you're about to hear some more.
Do you remember when Dee died? And she was there at her house. I was on the phone with her, and she was sitting outside. She just nonchalantly said, Dee died. I said, oh, when? She said, just now. I said, what? I said, did you call ambulance? No, she's dead. I called her husband so he can come back so he can handle it. And she sat on that front stoop to talk to me for an hour. While Dee laid in there dead.
Wow, I didn't know.
Can you guys believe that? Can you believe that? Did you hear that? She talked to Candace for an hour, right? Talked to Candace for an hour. And well, Dee Dee was laying inside the house unalived. Unalived.
That
Honey, I got everything.
I thought she didn't tell no one that Dee Dee was dead until she was cremated. So she told you that Dee Dee was dead the very day.
I was on the phone with her. When Dee Dee died. Dee Dee wasn't dead 10 minutes.
Oh, wow. Now, I found Dee Dee's death awful suspicious.
Yeah. I found a few deaths awful suspicious.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is Dee Dee was doing real good. She was doing real good. And what I took note of is she had Candace over. She had Candace over to visit. And she ended up in the hospital. Right after they dropped Candace off at home. She ends up in the hospital, and Candace calls her as she's in the hospital not feeling well and says, I need your husband to come back and pick me up. And Dee Dee signs herself. She wasn't going to send her husband to get Candace. She signs herself out of the hospital in order to go with her husband to pick Candace up again.
Yep.
And Candace comes back and Dee Dee is still not doing too good. And they take Candace home and they drop Candace off. And I guess Candace wasn't visiting for a little while there. And Dee Dee started to feel good again. She started to get back on her feet. Correct? I heard she started feeling better
Yeah.
and
Oh, yeah. Say that.
and was doing everything. And then Candace called her to come back again.
Mm-hmm.
And when Candace called her to come back again, she went and picked Candace up. And Candace was being very rude to her this time. And I heard that Dee Dee told some people that this time when she takes Candace home, she's going to cut ties with her because she had become very rude and saying very ugly and nasty things to Dee Dee. Candace was, and I heard that Dee Dee, wasn't appreciating the way that Candace was trying to, like become overbearing and
Yeah.
trying to run everybody's life.
Right.
And
Because I asked her when Dee Dee died, I said, "You going home?" She said, "No."
yeah,
I said, "You're going to live in our house with that man whose wife just died." She said, "Yeah, we get along great."
yeah. And I heard that she didn't get to take Candace home that time. That time she became real sick. She she needed to. She said she believed she needed to go to the hospital again, like the first time Candace had visited up, and she ended up in the hospital. And then Candace came right back, and she got rid of her, started to get back on her feet again, and Candace shows up again. And I heard this time, Dee Dee, was talking to people about how Candace was being and stuff. And Candace was there for a minute, and this woman ends up completely dead. And I heard Candace waited until she was dead, and still didn't call for help, didn't
No, I'm on the phone
resuscitate
with
her,
her.
just let
On the
her.
phone with her. She was sitting outside and told me, said she just died. I said, "When?" She just said, "Oh, about 10 minutes ago." And I said, "Didn't you call an ambulance?" Said, "No, she's dead." But I called her husband to come home. I don't know where he was, to come home and take care of it.
Wow.
See, she told me 4 days before she left that when Dawn goes to work on this certain day, they'll be there to pick her up. And they did.
Yeah.
Then he'd call me 50 times a day crying over her. And he said, "Do you think she's ever slept with anybody else?" I started laughing. I said, "I can name three that I know of."
Right. Yeah. And two underage minors. That first boy that she had up there that was just a kid, and the parents had to fight and fight to get him back. And then Hunter, who she groomed, and we all
Yep.
know she told Jose that she was his first. Um, and then and then I'm pretty sure. I mean, I'm pretty sure that Benny, was with it. That I don't know about Ernie, but I believe Benny done something with it.
I do too.
You know,
I do too.
I think he'd do anything um for click likes and views and some cash apps.
Yeah,
That's just my opinion. But it's also my opinion that I believe Candace killed that Dee Dee.
I do too. I mean,
Hmm.
here's what's weird. Hey, Hunter and his sister, any people around Kansas, but they say that shit, girl, Hunter's sister's boyfriend found uh, Allie laying dead. And I just thought that's so odd. There was other deaths around the same time that wasn't making sense. You know, if you were in her, like I said, if you're close to Candace, stay away.
Mm-hmm. And I'll be honest with you, Allison dying exactly the way Leslie died.
I know, right? That's what I was going to say. That other woman. Yep.
Mm-hmm. And Hunter was living with Leslie at the
Right.
time of her death, and she was threatening to go to law enforcement with something and told Allison if she didn't, she was going to. Well, she ended up dead.
Yeah.
And then after Hunter moved back in with Allison and stole all of her money and got those tattoos and really had her
Yeah.
upset, um, and she was, and according to Andrew, Allison said she was thinking about going to the law. She was thinking about going to the police and because of how Hunter was and doing. And she ended up dead too.
Right.
These are two women ends up dead the exact same way, both of them um, threatening to go to the law. And,
And that's
what a
people
coincidence.
around were dying.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they didn't want Summer. They only wanted the boys. And now they're saying what I read was they said forget about Summer. Forget about Summer. Worry about us getting my boys back.
Right. Right.
There you go. There you go. Would anybody like me to play the whole video again without interruption? Does anyone need to hear this whole video again without interruption? Put a 1 in the chat if you would like to hear it from beginning to end without any interruptions. Okay. All righty. PG's going to mute and play it out for you.
He ain't no count. And that bitch, his girlfriend Noelle, she's a dirty lying bitch. Because let me tell you how I could tell you so much, since God, I could tell you so much. When they got charged with sexual abuse, for the children, right?
Right.
And they had a court date. Well, next thing you know, all of it was dropped, and I'm thinking, how in the hell? When the kids are the ones that told them.
Mm-hmm.
So, in talking to Noelle one day, and we were talking about that, she said, I'm the one that got them dropped. She said, it cost us a little bit, but we had these papers drawn up, made up to look legit, and they dropped the charges. And I said, what? She said, yeah. She said, people don't know. There's quite a bit of things I can do.
Why did they say the charges were dropped?
Because of some paper Noel had written up. Whatever the paper was, the court seen it and dropped the charges. And she was all proud of that. And I said, well, I told her,
On Dawn and Candace?
yeah, there was charges on Don and Candace for sexual abuse against their children.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, then it got dropped.
I don't understand it. It puts other people at risk. It makes the victim feel like they never got any type of justice for all the pain and suffering and misery and a lifelong sentence of having to, deal with this kind
Absolutely.
of tragedy in their life. It's not fair.
Well, I see where they're asking friends, they're asking Ziggy and Fred to adopt the oldest boy. They're asking people to adopt him. And I see where they're friends with about all the YouTubers now.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You know, Don and Candace are right now. They are um, between a rock and a hard place with that oldest boy. Don and Candace right now. Trust me, they are in fear that oldest boy is coming out, and he's going
Yeah,
to tell everything about them, in order to seek his own justice that he didn't get
right.
by the system. And so I understand that fully and completely. And Don and Candace, feeling like their time's running out, they're getting desperate. And they're asking White Boy and his wife to take that kid.
Yeah.
Them two even
Well,
have been to take
they
it.
already tried. They already
Oh yeah,
tried. They
exactly.
couldn't get the custody.
They wanted Tim Mullins to do it, and he was too old. Um, and also he's has no wife. He has no real family, to help on top of his age, and so he couldn't do it. And then they wanted Robin. That's a lot of the reason Candace and Robin fell out, was due to, Candace was pushing too much about her get my boysies, get my boysies. And Robin's like, no, I can't, I'm not going to take your boysies because I don't want to put up with you. You would think that you could have access to them, and
Right,
and I'm just not going to be, dealing with all of that and fighting with all of that. Anyone, the reason a lot of people didn't want to take Don and Candace's boys is because they don't want to put up with Don and Candace. Don
right.
and Candace are dangerous. They're very dangerous.
Oh, yes. Do you remember when Dee died?
Mm-hmm.
And she was there at her house. I was on the phone with her, and she was sitting outside. She just nonchalantly said, um, Dee died. I said, oh, when? She said, just now. I said, what? I said, did you call ambulance? No, she's dead. I called her husband, told him to come back so he can handle it. And she sat on that front stoop to talk to me for an hour. While Dee laid in there dead.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Honey, I got everything.
Did I thought she didn't tell no one that Dee Dee was dead for until she was cremated. So she told you that Dee Dee was dead the very day.
I was on the phone with her. I was on the phone with her when Dee Dee died. Dee Dee wasn't dead 10 minutes.
Oh wow. Now, I found Dee Dee's death awful suspicious.
Yeah. I
Be-
found a few deaths awful suspicious.
yeah, exactly. And the thing is Dee Dee was doing real good. You know, she was doing real good. And what I took note of is she had Candace over. She had Candace over to visit. And she ended up in the hospital. Right after they dropped Candace off at home. Ends up in the hospital, and Candace calls her as she's in the hospital not feeling well and says, I need your husband to come back and pick me up. And Dee Dee signs herself. She wasn't going to send her husband to get Candace. She signs herself out of the hospital in order to go with her husband to pick Candace up again.
Yep.
And Candace comes back, and Dee Dee is still not doing too good. And they take Candace home and they drop Candace off. And I guess Candace wasn't visiting for a little while there. And Dee Dee started to feel good again. She started to get back on her feet. Correct? I heard she started feeling better
Yeah.
and
Oh, yeah. Say that.
and was doing everything. And then Candace called her to come back again.
Mm-hmm.
And when Candace called her to come back again, she went and picked Candace up. And Candace was being very rude to her this time. And I heard that Dee Dee told some people that this time when she takes Candace home, she's going to cut ties with her because she had become very rude and saying very ugly and nasty things to Dee Dee. Candace was, and I heard that Dee Dee, wasn't appreciating the way that Candace was trying to, like become overbearing and
Yeah.
trying to run everybody's life.
Right.
And
Because I asked her when Dee Dee died, I said, "You going home?" She said, "No."
yeah,
I said, "You're going to live in our house with that man whose wife just died." She said, "Yeah, we get along great."
yeah. And I heard that she didn't get to take Candace home that time. That time she became real sick. She she needed to. She said she believed she needed to go to the hospital again, like the first time Candace had visited up, and she ended up in the hospital. And then Candace came right back, and she got rid of her, started to get back on her feet again, and Candace shows up again. And I heard this time, Dee Dee, was talking to people about how Candace was being and stuff. And Candace was there for a minute, and this woman ends up completely dead. And I heard Candace waited until she was dead, and still didn't call for help, didn't try to
No, I'm on the phone
resuscitate
with
her,
her.
just let
On the
her.
phone with her. She was sitting outside and told me, said she just died. I said, "When?" She just said, "Oh, about 10 minutes ago." And I said, "Didn't you call an ambulance?" Said, "No, she's dead." But I called her husband to come home. I don't know where he was, to come home and take care of it.
Wow.
See, she told me 4 days before she left that when Dawn goes to work on this certain day, they'll be there to pick her up. And they did.
Yeah.
Then he'd call me 50 times a day crying over her. And he said, "Do you think she's ever slept with anybody else?" I started laughing. I said, "I can name 3 that I know of."
Right. Yeah. And two underage minors. That first boy that she had up there that was just a kid, and the parents had to fight and fight to get him back. And then Hunter, who she groomed, and we all
Yep.
know she told Jose that she was his first. Um, and then I'm pretty sure. I mean, I'm pretty sure that Benny, was with it. That I don't know about Ernie, but I believe Benny done something with it.
I do too.
You know,
I do too.
I think he'd do anything um for click likes and views and some cash apps.
Yeah,
That's just my opinion. But it's also my opinion that I believe Candace killed that Dee Dee.
I do too. I mean,
Hmm.
here's what's weird. Okay. Hunter and your sister. Any people around Candace, but they say that shit, girl, Hunter's sister's boyfriend found uh Allie laying dead, and I just thought that so odd. There was other deaths around the same time that wasn't making sense. You know, if you were in her, like I said, if you're close to Candace, stay away.
Mm-hmm. And I'd be honest with you, Allison dying exactly the way Leslie died.
I know, right? That's what I was going to say. That other woman.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And Hunter was living with Leslie
Right.
at the time of her death, and she was threatening to go to law enforcement with something and told Allison if she didn't, she was going to. Well, she ended up dead.
Yeah.
And then after Hunter moved back in with Allison and stole all her money and got those tattoos and really had her upset, and she was, and according to Andrew, Allison said she was thinking about going to the law. She was thinking about going to the police and because of how Hunter was and doing. And she ended up dead too.
Right.
These are two women ends up dead the exact same way, both of them threatening to go to the law. And,
And that's
what a
people
coincidence.
around were dying.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, they didn't want Summer. They only wanted the boys. And now they're saying, what I read was, they said, forget about Summer. Forget about Summer. Worry about us getting my boys back.
Right. Right.
There you go. There you go. You guys heard from beginning to end some shocking, shocking stuff that we did not know. We did not know it. We know it now, but we did not know it then. And there is plenty more of this shocking stuff to be out here over the next few days. I can only bring it to you a little at a time because it takes time, right? It takes time to not just put it all together. And I got to keep this person anonymous. So, and I will, and I will. But I have to put it all in content, change the voices and so forth, and then bring it out here to you. And I can only bring so much at a time, but there is a lot of it. And all of it is very shocking stuff. I mean, you ain't heard nothing yet. You ain't heard nothing yet. This is shocking. All of this is shocking that you've been hearing. But honey, there is more. There is more. And I'm going to be bringing that to the table tomorrow night. You will have to fasten your seatbelts again. So make sure that you pop the popcorn, get all your snacks together. Make sure you have plenty of soda or coffee or tea or whatever your choice of beverage is. Maybe even a glass of wine. Right? I'm singing Whiskey River Don't Run Dry because I got to make it to the other side. So bring your things, get them all set up next to you, because you're going to have to put on your seatbelts again, and it'll be another ride. So you'll have to hold on. You'll even be in seatbelted. You need to hold on to your chair, right? or whatever you're sitting in. You're going to need to hold on. There's a lot more to come. And I will be bringing it. I will be bringing it as much as I can each night. I will be bringing it to you like I did tonight, and let you hear what PG was hearing. Now, when I came out and I told you guys that this is very shocking stuff, you might have thought I was building a molehill into a mountain. But I've learned a long time ago to not ever make a molehill into a mountain. People don't like people who turn molehills into mountains, right? I don't like someone to do it, and I don't do it to others. When I tell you it's a mountain, it's a mountain, right? Because PG tells the truth. I don't waste no words, and I don't lie to nobody. Why? Because I know that we need the truth in this world. I need the truth. Everybody needs the truth. You need the truth to stay safe. You need to know what you're dealing with every day to stay safe. You can't afford to believe lies and be damned. You've got to learn to open your eyes, face the truth, in order to stay safe in this life. Right? And you also got to open your eyes, and you got to face the truth in order to find the missing child, in order to bring it home, in order to get justice for it. You have to be able to search, demand, and find the truth, because nothing's going to bring this child home or get justice but the truth. And PG only seeks the truth. I only want the truth, and I'm only going to bring the truth to the table. And I told you, this was some real shocking stuff. Real shocking. And you see that it was. And when I told you it was very hard for me to listen to, now you know why. It was really hard. And what was even harder is having to hear it myself and not be able to share it right then with you. I did not want to know this stuff all by myself. It was an overload. And now you know why. Now you know why. Because now you're hearing it. Now you're hearing it. It was a lot. A lot. And there's a lot more. There's a lot more. And I've got to bring it. I got to bring it to you. And I'm going to bring it to you. Because I think you have every right to hear it. As hard as it is to hear, you've got a right to hear it. You got that right. So we're going to continue bringing it all out until every last bit of it is played. For Summer's sake. For Summer's sake. We're going to listen to it all. And for Dee Dee's sake also. For her sake as well. So we're going to continue. And put a 1 in the chat. Put a 1 in the chat if you agree this was some real shocking stuff. Some real shocking information. Because to me, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it, y'all. I couldn't believe what my ears were hearing. It set me back in my seat. It definitely set me back in my seat. And you guys know PG. Honey, that's hard to do. That's hard to do. But it did it. And I'm going to tell you, you think all of this is shocking? Just wait. Wait and hear the rest. Wait over the next few days. Tomorrow night, shocking. Monday night, shocking. Tuesday night, if PG's able to make it in on Tuesday, I'm going to try. Shocking. Wednesday, shocking. I think y'all going to be very shocked for the next few days. So make sure you stock up on snacks. Make sure you stock up on whatever you need. Get it wherever you need it to be. And make sure you know where your seatbelts are, because you're going to need them. All right, everybody. PG's going to head out of here. I'm going to head out of here. But you heard the lady. You heard her. At the end, she said, all Candace cared about was getting those boys back. Forget Summer, get the boys back.
Are you happier now, Candace?
Am I happier? Well, I'm
No,
happy,
I mean,
but I'll be really happy when I get my boys back.
I want to keep doing me so I can do my boys. And yeah, Summer will always be here with me, no matter what anybody says.
And I don't like saying this, and I don't want to say this at all, but I have to put her on the side and worry about the boys because they're still here, it's still living, and it's still in foster care, and and I don't like saying this, and I don't want to say this at all, but I have to put her on the side and worry about the boys because they're still here, it's still living, and it's still in foster care, and
are you happier now, Candace?
Am I happier? Well, I'm
No,
happy,
I mean,
but I'll be really happy when I get my boys back. When I get my baby
Right.
back, then I'll be really happy.
But not Summer, right? But not Summer. Because she already knows. She already knows that her, Grandis, and Hunter went to that swimming hole that day, destroyed that little girl, took her back to Ben Hill Road, met up with Chad Arnold, and went somewhere where they hid her away for good in order to keep from going to prison for whatever they done or allowed to be done that caused Summer to have to be destroyed so they didn't go to prison. That's my opinion. I will keep it. I will keep it. Take a look. Take a look. This was Saturday. This was on Saturday. On Tuesday, June 15th, 2021. Summer Moon, Utah Wells, was reported missing. Reported missing. They set a stage for abduction, and law enforcement knew it was bullshit. They knew she did not wander off. If you know what she didn't do, then you have to know what was done. I rest my case on this, right? I rest my case on it. I think we know what happened June 15, 2021. I think we know who's responsible for what happened as well. And why they are not in prison, I do not know. I do not know. Only God knows that. And I sure hope he changes the verdict and lets them be put in prison where they belong so other people can be safe. And I pray that in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. I really do. This little girl did not deserve what was done to her. And we will not give up until justice is served. Because we don't give up on missing children. We don't pick up their case and drop it like a bad habit. When we pick it up, we stick with it. And we see it through. Please keep the prayers going up for Summer Moon, Utah Wells. Please keep the prayers going up. She needs your prayers. And I'm sure you're praying. And it is so appreciated. I know she don't have a voice to thank you. So I'm going to thank you for her. I'm going to be the one thanking you for her. And I'm sure she loves you and she appreciates everything you're doing for her. And I'm sure she hopes you keep on being out here for her. Because she don't have a voice. And you are her voice right now. And she appreciates it. Trust me, she appreciates it. Every missing person in this world appreciates the people who doesn't give up on them. Because as you can see in Sebastian's case, they gave up on him. Jack and Lily, they're giving up on them. Little Emmanuel, they're giving up on him. Genesis, they didn't really even cover her. Nancy Guthrie's the big thing right now. And that's what they're all into. Till something better comes along. Or they need to go back. They need to go back to one of the other missing children's cases. And try to bring it up again. We don't give up. We came here for Summer. And Summer has been in the spotlight ever since. We've covered other children's cases, but we kept Summer out here too. Because that's what you do. You don't ever give up on them. And we will not give up where Summer's concerned. So keep those prayers going up. And keep them going up for one another. a family who prays together, stays together. And God put you here for this little girl to become a family. And we have. We have. So send those prayers up for all these missing children, for Nancy, and send them up for one another as well. In the name of Jesus Christ, amen. Good night, everybody. God bless. And always know, PG loves you. I love everybody.